Hello ladies, thank you so much for watching. My name is Angela, for those of you that don't know me, and I'm a functional medicine practitioner, and I have been a healthcare professional for over 20 years, and I have an absolute passion for helping females, especially females over 40, learn how to discover the root cause of where their hormone imbalance symptoms are truly coming from, so that they can get the balance back in their bodies for the long term and feel like their best selves, especially as you move towards the transition to perimenopause, menopause, and beyond. And with this time of life, many women are having changes in symptoms. And one common symptom that I find is not talked about enough is low libido. Low libido and low drive. So many women report that they're feeling changes gradually happening, sometimes as early as their late 30s to early 40s, but many women report significant changes in their late 40s and early to mid 50s and beyond. And many women will actually report to me that they have zero libido. They have no drive. They have no desire to have that intimacy and that connection. And for this, a lot of women do feel sad about this because they do feel that they still have a good connection with their partner if you are in a long-term relationship, but they just don't feel that connection for that intimacy and drive in that way. And they don't know why. They don't know why it's gone, and they would like to get it back for themselves and also for the connectedness in their relationship. So I want to let you know that it is common for women to have lower libido and low drive in this time of life, in your early to mid 40s and beyond. And one of the big reasons for that is because the female sex hormone levels are shifting and changing a lot. Estrogen and progesterone are on the decline. They're declining at an uneven rate, so there is some hormonal imbalance in this time of life for females that can impact libido. But generally speaking, most of the sex hormones are declining, including testosterone. And there's other hormones that can also impact libido that often are at lower levels than they may have been when you were younger. Things like thyroid hormone, for example. So we want to be thinking, what can we do to understand some things that we could do to mitigate our libido and drive and get it to actually improve in the face of the lowering sex hormones? Because one of the main things that does help us physiologically to have drive is to have enough circulating sex hormone around estrogen, testosterone, and even to a certain degree progesterone. But testosterone and estrogen are the hormones that are more responsible for our drive. And then there are some adrenal hormones secondarily that can also compensate and help with this, DHEA and cortisol. And again, if the thyroid and the thyroid hormones are out of balance, this can also cause lower libido than there should be for females in this age group. So it's a real mix of what's happening with hormones and hormonal balance in this time of life as to what could be contributing to your low libido. So it's really important. So when I work with women, the first thing we do is we do lab testing. So we need to check all of your hormone levels. We need to check the balance between them, and we need to see how much that's impacting your drive and your libido. Now, there's other things that influence this as well. Definitely there sometimes and often is relationship stress. Some people, again, they have been in long-term relationships, and for some people, they are noticing that there's different stressors on the relationship, and that could be impacting your libido for sure. Some women may also have had previous history of trauma, and this also could be influencing your drive and your libido. So there is different factors, but from a pure physiology perspective with libido, a lot of it has to do with the lowering sex hormone levels. So again, we want to be thinking, well, what are some things that you could do right away to take charge of this? And there is a lot. So we don't necessarily understand the connection here, but some of the things that we're doing with our lifestyle are strongly connected to how long we can maintain optimal hormone levels and actually keep them balanced, which is a big part of what also keeps us having libido well into the menopausal years, even when we have low sex hormones. So how do we actually do some things to help us both maintain hormone levels as long as possible, to help us with libido and drive, and maintain balance with them, because that can maintain drive long term, even in the menopause shift and beyond, when those sex hormone levels we know are at a much lower level. So here's some things, some quick tips, some things you can do. We need to make sure that we are living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle. Now, what does that mean? There's a lot of things around inflammation that we could target, but one of the main things we can do to target inflammation is we can target our diet. So, and I don't mean go on a diet, I mean targeting your diet to make it anti-inflammatory. So some really basic principles, you may have heard these before, but you may have not heard and how this could be connected to libido for you. But eat an anti-inflammatory diet that is full of lean proteins, could be a blend of animal plant-based proteins. Make sure they're lean, clean, organic, grass-fed. If they're animal-based, ideally. Make sure that you're cleaning and washing all your foods well. Even if they're organic, there's often a lot of sprays, herbicides, pesticides, and that toxin load can influence inflammation. Make sure you're eating some fruits and vegetables during your day. The amount that you eat and the ratio between the two may vary from day to day, but make sure you have some color in your diet, and try and eat some fiber. Eat 25-30 grams a day, which you could be getting from some healthy whole grains. You could be getting those from a combination of nuts and seeds, and try and keep your sugar intake as low as possible, processed packaged foods as low as possible. I know sometimes it's not always possible to have those foods completely eliminated in the world we live in, but we can do our best. And what is that connection between inflammation and low libido? If our inflammation in our body systemically, meaning throughout our body, is too high, and one of the reasons it can be too high is from not eating an optimal anti-inflammatory diet, inflammation will actually block both the process of making some of these sex hormones, and it'll also block the process of how our body shuttles and move these hormones to the places that they need to move to. So there's the basic building blocks called cholesterols that help us make hormones, and then the hormones are messengers, right? So they're shuttling all over the body to various different places for use. And if we have too much inflammation in our bodies, we literally just slow down or completely blunt this transport of these hormones to the essential areas. And one of the areas definitely within our endocrine system has to do with creating drive, sexual drive as far as motivation. So this is really important to connect the dots here. Libido is not just something specific around stimulation vaginally, the ability to achieve orgasm. It also has to do with systemically how our overall health and wellness is. And this becomes more important for us as females as we move towards and into the menopause shift, because we have less circulating hormone available to us as the hormone production declines. So we really want to be able to utilize to the best of our abilities what's there for us. So again, anti-inflammatory lifestyle, diet is one of the first places to look. I always say 80% of having an anti-inflammatory lifestyle comes from diet. So that's huge. That's a lot. The other thing that can be really helpful for women as they move into this time of life, and again, the sex hormone levels are lowering. So estrogen, progesterone are the main female sex hormones, but testosterone is also lowering. So if you do have a lifestyle where you incorporate exercise, and very specifically some exercise that involves some weights and resistance training, that can stimulate the production of testosterone in the face of naturally lowering testosterone levels. So really important that you do include this as well in part of your lifestyle planning to help you optimize hormone health and wellness and have the potential to increase your libido. So make sure you don't miss out on that one. And then the other thing, again, that sometimes people are not aware of the connectedness, but is we need to make sure that tied into this anti-inflammatory lifestyle, that we are trying to have an everyday lifestyle that's low in toxic load and burden. Why is this? High circulating toxic load and burden, again, literally just blunts that ability for our body to utilize, process, and transport hormones to where they need to get to. So I've seen so many women that have low libido that once we do the proper lab testing, we figure out what the toxic load or burden is built up in their bodies, where it is, and we help them get rid of it, that their libido starts to improve. So there is a strong connection here as well. Now, where does toxic load and burden come from in our everyday lives? Some really common places, again, are foods. If you're eating more packaged, processed foods, again, fruits and vegetables possibly, but they may not be organic. They may be heavily sprayed, especially if they're coming from countries where they're not regulating this as much, which is more common in third world countries. And we do import a lot of our foods from these places, especially at certain times of year. So something to keep in mind. And then for women especially, I find it's the toxins in our products. So what are you putting on your hair every day? What are you putting on your skin every day? These things can just build up over a lifetime and leave us with a very high circulating toxic load. Phthalates are really present in most makeup products, BPAs and all our plastics. Even clothing, certain clothing has more toxins that's given off than others, depending on where you buy them from and their quality. So we've got to really be looking to how can I reduce my toxic load and burden in the body through some of these lifestyle strategies, which you could start to put in place right away. But at the end of the day, you may be someone who needs to do some lab testing to understand what is the balance of my sex hormones, how low are they, and what is the driver of me having low libido relative to where I'm at with my sex hormone levels. is there something that I can do from a lifestyle perspective to help me get this back into balance? So some of the tips and strategies I shared with you, or do you need to go deeper? And going deeper means running proper labs. So I always make sure that women that want to run labs to understand more deeply the root cause of where this low libido could be coming from, low drive, low motivation, is that we run a Dutch test, a Dutch hormone test. So it looks at all your hormone levels, all your adrenal levels, and it also looks, it's really unique to other hormone tests. It looks at how the body's processing and utilizing hormones, how they're being shuttled. This is really important for women that have low libido to understand this and understand what may not be balanced this way. Again, we often have to even dig deeper than just looking at the hormone levels. We often have to look at gut and urine testing to check for different toxic loads. There could be heavy metals. There could be buildups of glyphosate, herbicides, pesticides, etc. There could be some other products that might be built up in your body that we can test for. And if we see them, we can help your body learn how to detoxify them efficiently. And this can have a massive positive impact on your libido. So we can get really specific with lab tests and creating a functional lifestyle plan for you around not only some of the base things that I just spoke about here on this video, but also talking about how to get specific with potentially detoxification in your body to balance your hormones as you move towards and into that perimenopause, menopause shift and beyond. It's not just about the level of sex hormone we have present, it's also about balance. So many women can actually restore their drive even in the face of lowering or low sex hormones, even in menopause, when we get these other lifestyle factors balanced. And with that, you get more connection with yourself, more overall health and wellness, energy, vitality. Those brain chemicals are working in a more positive way as soon as we have more libido and drive and intimacy and connection. And obviously it can help with your close personal relationships to your intimate ones in particular. So if you have any questions around this, please let me know. It's not as much of a taboo topic as it used to be, but I find it's not talked about enough, and it's something that's really, really common. Women do often lose drive in this time of life, but you don't have to. So if you want to reach out to me, connect with me, learn about how we could have a call together to understand where you're at with your libido, your symptoms, what you've tried, what's worked, what hasn't, and how to potentially work together to develop a plan to help you restore your libido, and in turn also your overall health and wellness, please feel free to reach out to me. You can connect with me at my website, www.angelasimpsonfunctionalmedicine.ca. There is a place there to book a complimentary consult. I'd be happy to talk with you. As well, you can reach out to me on the contact link there if you want to email me and just talk through briefly what your health concerns are and if you think you're at a place where you should book a call, and I can let you know. Thanks so much, ladies. Take care, and we'll see you again soon. If you haven't already, please like me on all my socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and please join my Facebook group, Functional Medicine for Hormone Imbalances. If you haven't already, there's a group of thousands of females in there where we learn about topics every week about how you can start to rebalance your hormones naturally. Thanks so much. Bye for now.